Hi everyone, today we are starting with a new unit, Unit 8, Financial Principles and Technique for Strategic Managers. So, as you all know, in today's world, we need to have strategic planning well in advance. So, each and every organization, be it a small, medium or a large organization, has its own vision, mission during its lifetime. So this vision and mission, they are actually the aspirations of the company which they want to achieve. Now these aspirations of the companies means the vision of the company is the long term target which a company wants to achieve. Since you have already completed so many units, so by now you must have understood the meaning of vision. I will not go into the vision statement, what it is for the organization and into the nitty-gritties of it, but yes, how it is connected to strategic management. Now strategic management is, as you all know, strategically planning the entire organization's vision, which is long term goals, and the people who does this strategic planning are called strategic leaders. Strategic leaders will definitely need to understand, interpret and make use of financial data. So if you see, even if it's a profit making organization, the main motive, the prime motive of each of these organization is to maximize profit. In order to maximize profit, it is important to do strategic planning. In order to do this strategic planning, a lot of data and information is required. A strategic leader needs to know the data and information both. Data is the collection of the important aspects of organization. It can be both financial aspect of information or non-financial aspect. Today in this unit, we will talk about the financial aspect of information. So, strategic financial management is about creating profits for the business over the long run. It seeks to maximize return. Obviously, you know, the organization has certain stakeholders. The people who have stake in the company. Stakeholders never ever mess it with shareholders. Stakeholders are overall people who are directly or indirectly connected with the organization, whereas shareholders are the people who has owners in the company. They are the owners of the company, they have shares of the company. Okay, so these are the various aspects of strategic manager. Now in this unit, we will talk about the financial aspects of information which strategic managers or leaders should know and require to make strategic decision making or strategic planning. for different data, especially financial data, there are various financial terminologies where different types of cost which each and every strategic manager, every person who is into the financial decision making of the organization should know. So these costs, the first are based on certain aspects, so based on elements, based on functions, based on behavior. So when it is based on the elements, costing based on the elements, cost based on elements, function and behavior. Based on the elements, it can be, so elements is what? It can be a material. So cost means where, in what all cases the data may be, the cost may be incurred. So cost may be incurred in terms of elements like material, labor, overheads, right? Or we can call it expenses also. This is by element. So material, raw material used in production is a material. Labor, the labor used in producing those. So for example, let's take the example of construction. If you are doing a construction of a building, material is being used, raw material is being used in constructing a building, which will, the cost incurred in that will come under the category of material. The cost incurred by on labor to prepare the building, to construct the building, will come under labor. And the other types of expenses like electricity and other stuff, transportation, that will come under the expense head. So by element you can divide your cost into three aspects: material, labor and expenses. The other thing is by function. So if you divide your cost as production cost, manufacturing cost, or administrative cost, or distribution cost, or marketing cost, marketing and distribution cost, it comes under a category of function. So if you see, some functioning is happening, like production is happening, manufacturing is happening, administrative activities are happening, marketing and promotion is happening, distribution is happening. So if any sort of functions is being happened in the organization and cost is incurred on these functions, such type of cost is called functional cost or function cost. So you can also categorize your cost by function. Third way to categorize your cost is through its behavior, means whether it's a indirect cost or direct cost, whether it is a fixed cost or variable cost. Now when we talk about fixed cost, variable cost, direct and indirect cost, what exactly it means? An indirect cost is a cost which is indirectly related to production of the goods and services. Production of goods and services, it is indirectly related. For example, transportation cost. If you see this transportation cost, the transportation cost you will not relate it directly to the production of the unit. So suppose we are producing a biscuit packet. But transportation cannot be related to the biscuit packet directly. Yes, the material used, the labor used, the factory expenses used, like electricity, that you can actually relate to this biscuit packet, but transportation cost is not the direct cost. You cannot put it directly with the cost of one packet of biscuit. So what type of cost it is? Indirect cost. Direct costs are like material, labor, directly related to production of goods and services. By the end of this unit, we will be giving you certain links and reference materials wherein you can go check online and like it is in detail, so you can go through them and understand how exactly things functions. Okay, then there comes a fixed cost. For example, a cost which is fixed in nature, which does not change with the capacity of production. Suppose right now you are making 10,000 units of biscuit every day. Still, the rental of your place is 50,000 rupees or INR. But if you increase this capacity of 10,000 to 20,000 units, still the rent of the place will remain 50,000 only. Such type of cost which does not change with the change in production of the services or goods, means if you enhance or decrease the capacity of production, still if the costs are not changing, such type of costs are called fixed cost. What are then variable cost? Obviously the cost which changes with increase or decrease in capacity of production are variable cost. Like if per unit material cost is 10 rupees and we produce 10,000 units, then total cost is 100,000 rupees. But if we change this 10 rupees remains the same, if we change the capacity of production, which is 20,000 units, obviously the overall variable cost will increase to 200,000, which means with increase or decrease in production capacity or production of goods and services, the variable cost is also increasing or decreasing. So these are the types of cost by element, by function and by behavior. I hope you must have understood these things, these terminologies of cost. Another type of cost is a step cost, that is called step cost. It's like a step. Till a certain level of capacity, it will remain same. But as you increase the capacity and you want to reach here, you will again have to incur more cost, which means it is a mix of fixed and variable cost. For example, if we take an example of a place or a machinery, which has a capacity of making 100,000 units. Right now we are making 80,000 units only. Since we are making 80,000 units, there is still a capacity of 20,000. Now for a machinery, we are making it has a capacity of 100,000 units. We are making 80,000 units only, which means we have an excess capacity of 20%. Okay, means we can also make 20 more thousand units. Till we make this unit, we don't have to incur more on, no need to incur more on machinery cost. But once we reach 100,000 units, once we start producing 100,000 units, our machinery cost will increase if we further want to enhance the capacity of the production. So if we further increase the production, then definitely the machinery we have to buy new, the cost will increase. So till a certain point, the point is 100,000 units, the cost remained same. But after 1000 units, if I want to reach 120,000 unit, I have to enhance the capacity and will have to buy a new machinery. This is the concept of step cost. There is another type of cost called opportunity cost. It is the value of what you lose when you choose from one or more alternatives. So one or more alternatives are available. If suppose, let's talk about opportunity cost now. If we talk about opportunity cost, I have two alternatives available. Suppose I have right now an own funds, means I myself has funds of 100,000 and I want to invest these funds somewhere. I have two options to invest. Either I can put it as a fixed deposit, which will yield me 7% interest, or I put it in equity shares of other companies, and which might yield me 15% in profit. Now either I can opt for this or this. If I am opting equity as my investment, then I am foregoing the opportunity of 7%. This is my opportunity cost. So for me, 7 divided by 100 into 100,000 is my opportunity cost, means 7,000 is my opportunity cost for 100,000 spent. Because I am opting 15%, I am foregoing 7%. This means what? Out of two alternatives I am choosing equity shares as my investment alternative. So I am actually losing the opportunity to earn 7%, which I could have earned if I would have put my investment or my money in fixed deposits. There is another type of cost which is called relevant cost. say suppose I want to something called relevant cost. This is my advice to you, to go through these concepts again and again before you actually learn them. It's not easy to keep that in mind for a longer period of time. So please go through these concepts, read about these concepts in various different books through the links which we are attaching to this to this video after this session gets finished. So relevant cost is a managerial accounting term that describes avoidable costs that are incurred only when making specific business decisions. So that are incurred while making specific business decisions. Now, I want to start up a business. To start up business, I want to do a market research. Whether the business which I want to open actually has a market at a certain location or not. The cost, each and every effort has a cost. So the cost which I will incur would be relevant cost. Means since I am trying to make a specific business decision of starting up a business, I am spending on market research. In case I wouldn't have opened a startup or opened a business, I would not have incurred on market research. So such type of costs are called relevant costs. There is another type of cost which is called sunk cost. Sunk means gone, right? Such type of costs are, say suppose you start up a business in which one time incorporation expenses are required. When you incur these expenses, there is no benefit out of it, yes, but you get an opportunity to open your business. Such type of costs are called sunk costs, which are already incurred and that cannot be recovered. Means anything cannot be recovered out of them, or the cost itself cannot be recovered. So thus this type of costs are called sunk costs. So with this we are finishing off our different types of costs. Now we come up with the concept of different types of accounting. Different types of accounting. The first type of accounting is cost accounting, second is management accounting, third is financial accounting. Cost accounting, second management accounting, third financial accounting. The definitions of which are already given everywhere. Go to Investopedia, you will get the definitions of it. I will tell you exactly what is the concept of these three. Cost accounting, if suppose you are producing 10,000 units per day in your factory. Whatever cost you incur to make these 10,000 units should be accounted for. Why? Because you need to understand how much is your cost and how much should be the selling price so that you can arrive at profit margin. So the main concept is arriving at profit margin. Need to understand. So if I talk about the definition, cost accounting is the process of accounting for cost for very starting till the end of the reporting period. Means suppose during the year I say during the year 1 year time I make 2 million units. This 1 year starting from 1st January 2022 to 31st December 2022. If I am making 2 million unit, if I try to understand the cost of these 2 million unit over a period of 1 year, that will come under my cost accounting. It is basically used for recording cost of production. So I am repeating again for you. Cost accounting, producing what do you produce in a certain period of time. If you record the cost of it, it comes under the category of cost accounting. There are various ways to record the cost of these production, but which we are not going into nitty-gritties of that. We are right now concentrating on what is cost accounting. Now the next one is management accounting. Management accounting. As there are two terms, management and accounting. If management of the company wants to understand or wants to do decision making, and for that purpose a certain financial information is required and certain financial information is required, and reports of various transactions are required. Based on these informations, when they come up to certain decision making, it is management accounting. Means recording of transactions in a format that a certain outcome can be derived from that reports. It comes under the category of management accounting. For example, profit percentage per unit of production. That if I need to find out this particular percentage of profit, I have to have a selling price or sales during year. I will also require costing, followed by, then I will find out profit. So when such type of reports are made for the convenience of management, such type of accounting is called management accounting. The third type of accounting is financial accounting. As you know, there are different rules, laws and regulations in each of the country. When you record your transaction based on those laws, rules and regulations of that country, those accounting standards such type of recording of transaction, creation of transaction, recording them, presenting them in a particular manner is called financial accounting. Through this, you arrive at overall profit of the business, overall position of the business, what are the cash flows during the year. So when you talk about each of them, and you record your transaction to prepare such financial statements, it comes under category of financial accounting. If I go to read the terms, financial accounting is the art of recording, classifying. So I am recording, I am classifying, and if I summarize, I record, I classify, and I summarize the transactions during the year. Such type of recording of transaction, classifying them and summarizing them is called financial accounting. Obviously, this accounting method follows accounting rules, as I said, laws of the country, accounting principles, regulations, etc. As you know, nowadays there is another concept which has come up, the concept of corporate social responsibility. Means each and every organization, apart from making profit, should look towards the people and society, also the profit. So when we talk about the three: people, society and profit, it is called triple bottom line. What is it called? Triple bottom line. Triple point. It is either society you can say, or you can say planet. Means when you care about the environment, when you care about your people, the health and safety of your employees, when you care about that whatever garbage is there in the company, or whatever the company is doing, whatever activities or operations of the company are on a day-to-day basis, my planet is not getting affected out of it. Also making the profit from the operations. If a company concentrates on three aspects, three P's, it is called triple bottom line. Triple bottom line, wherein a company concentrates on three P's: people, planet and profit. So rather than solely focusing on the profit, generation, they also look after or care about the society. This aspect is also known as corporate social responsibility. This is a concept of triple bottom line. When we say bottom line, only bottom line means net profit. So now what is net profit? Revenue means sales minus expense, both direct and indirect, gives me operating income or operating profit. When I deduct or subtract from operating profit tax, it gives me net income. If this net income is in plus, this net income or profit is known as bottom line. And when the company cares about the people as well as planet, and they do keep doing some positive things for the people and planet apart from making profits, that is called triple bottom line. PPP, triple, 3 times P, so triple bottom line. I hope you got the point. Now coming to next. There are 3 kinds of financial statements when we talk about financial accounting. There are 3 types of financial statements. First is income statement, also known as profit and loss statement. Means whatever income or loss is being generated by a company or an organization over a period of time, usually it is a period of 1 year, such type of statements when we make, it is called income and profit and loss statements. Means it shows income generated by organization over a period of time. The second type of financial statement is balance sheet. This signifies or presents position of the company. Means whether companies has enough base or not. There is in this there are terms like assets, liabilities. Assets are things which company owns, Liabilities are debts which company needs to pay to others. And this another concept in liabilities of owner's equity, also known as capital, means the amount which owner or shareholders of the company invest in a company is called capital or owner's equity. Now, for a company, asset is what company owns, like machinery, like land, like cash, like accounts receivable means the accounts which company has to receive it from somebody else on the basis of credit sales is assets of the company. They are further divided into fixed asset and current asset, which we will be discussing it in the next learning outcome. But the liability, on the other hand, the liability means all the debts of the company which company has to pay. Capital also is a debt for the company because company is treated as a separate legal entity. Means like me, if I am the owner of the company or I am a shareholder of the company, I cannot attach myself to the company. Company is a separate artificial person. That is why it is called, it has a separate legal entity. So whatever I invest in the company, it will be treated as company's liability. By seeing the position, if I want to see the position of the company, what exactly the position is at a certain point of time, in that particular case, I need to see the balance sheet of the company, wherein what company has as its asset, it will be given, liabilities would have been given and capital would have been given. So I can interpret the position of the company by looking at this particular statement. The third type of statement which is made in the company is called cash flow statement. This statement shows whatever cash is being spent or outflow, or whatever cash is inflow into the organization. When we form this type of statement, it is called cash flow statement. So these are the three financial statements. First is income statement, second is balance sheet, the third is cash flow statement of the organization. Financial statement provides a snapshot of corporation's financial health, giving insight into its performance, operations and cash flows. Financial statements essential since they provide information about company's revenue, expense, profitability and debt, which we have just discussed few minutes back. Okay, so it is very important for any organization to keep its financial statements, because by looking at it, the outsider or public will be able to understand what is the standing of the company in the entire. Now we will talk about management information system. It's a new concept. So management information system, as the word says, information system, it's a application or software which collects data and changes it into meaningful information. So, say suppose a company has 5 departments, it will collect data from 5 different departments, keep it within itself, and whenever a certain type of report or information is required, it will process that data and provide that meaningful information to the strategic leaders or managers. These days technology and data collection are so prevalent that business, even if it's a large business or a small business, are using management information systems to improve their outcomes. So what are the features of management information system? It identifies information, it records it properly, it then analyzes it and reports it as per user's requirement. Then there is a concept of sensitivity analysis and scenario analysis. Sensitivity and scenario analysis. Sensitivity and scenario analysis. Sensitivity analysis is the process of tweaking one input and investigating how it affects the overall model. In contrast, scenario analysis require one to list the whole set of variables and then change the value of each input for different scenarios. So, for example, I am into production of chair and selling it. So, one chair cost me $100. Okay. Price per chair means selling price per chair is $200. And if I sell it at this, I am able to sell units 10,000. Means I am making a profit of 1 million. Sensitivity analysis describes if I keep changing value of one particular component of the entire calculation, what will be the change in the profit? That is how my profit is sensitive to selling cost of each chair, or how sensitive it is if I keep on changing selling price. This is called the sensitivity analysis. I am reading out the definition, I am telling you definition again. Sensitivity analysis is the process of tweaking just one component, i.e. either of these components of the cost, how it affects the overall model, of the profit. So, this can be for profit, it can be for both financial and non-financial things. Now, on the other hand, scenario analysis, for example, if I give you example of scenario analysis, an organization may consider how a decrease in available fuel can impact their delivery turnaround time and number of goods sold. So, if I decrease the availability of fuel, what will be the impact on delivery turnaround time and number of goods sold? When I see the entire scenario, it is called scenario analysis. With this, our learning outcome A has finished. Thank you so much for attending this session. After this, after finishing the entire four learning outcomes, there will be few YouTube videos and links which will be shared with you. You can go through them for better understanding. Thank you so much.